Hi, I'm Lee Panich. I'm a professor in anthropology, and I teach about archaeology. SCU has probably one of the most archaeologically significant college campuses in the country. So today what we're going to do is do a little archaeology tour of the Santa Clara University campus. So right now we're here in the Mission Garden, and if you go to Santa Clara or if you're an alum, you know that this is an extremely peaceful spot. You can come out here and do your reading for class, people sunbathe and all that stuff. And today it's a great place to relax, but this in the colonial period was actually the center of the mission. So this is where you would have had a lot of activity going on. So instead of kind of a quiet, reflective garden, this would have been filled with people working. So Native Americans, in different workshops, there probably would have been areas for spinning wool, for weaving, or even looms. So you would have had probably women doing that. There likely would have been blacksmith shops where some of the men would work. You had granaries for storing all the crops that they grew here. And then there were soldiers that the Spanish brought up from what's today Mexico. And those guys kind of lived over closer to where the alumni house is. And so this would have just been like the center of the community. And when we think about the mission, usually we think about being the Spanish or Mexican heritage, but really there were maybe 2 missionaries, and these guys came over from Spain, and maybe a handful of colonial soldiers, again coming up from Mexico. And then in any given year, there would have been more than maybe 1,000 Native Americans living here at Santa Clara. And so we have a really rich archaeological history that gets into some of these interesting stories. In terms of the archaeology, we have our beautiful mission church across the way, and what's interesting about the Mission Church is it's a modern replica. It was built in 1926 after the previous Mission Church had burned to the ground in a kind of a freak accident. And it gets complicated archaeologically, but there were 5 mission churches in the historical period, and those are scattered out around the area. 3 of them are on campus. And so when we think about all the stuff that's underneath the ground here, it's really quite amazing.